Welcome to Bible Reader Companion. Our Bible reading this week is Mark 11 through 16 and Galatians chapters 1 through 4. Our memory verse this week is Mark 12 and verse 30. Mark 12 and verse 30 in the New King James says, "And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. This is the first commandment." It reminds us that our service to God must be 100%, and it must come from the heart. As we look at our reading this week, we want to take another look at a passage in Mark chapter 11, beginning in verse 15. Mark 11, beginning in verse 15. "So they came to Jerusalem. Then Jesus went into the temple and began to drive out those who bought and sold in the temple, and overturned the tables of the money changers and the seats of those who sold doves. And he would not allow anyone to carry wares through the temple. Then he taught, saying to them, 'Is it not written, My house shall be called a house of prayer for all nations, but you have made it a den of thieves?' And the scribes and chief priests heard it and sought how they might destroy him, for they feared him, because all the people were astonished at his teaching." You know, Jesus was dealing with an issue that is so very common, and that is the people of that day had turned the worship of God into an opportunity for business and money-making. And it was more about the money-making than it was about the worship. And if you think about our memory verse, where the idea is that we are to love the Lord our God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, then it reminds us of the fact that that's how our worship ought to be. Our worship ought to be about our devotion to God. It ought not to be about how can we make money off of the religion of Jesus Christ and serving God. There are many churches today who have continued to do this sort of thing. Some in a very literal sense, in the sense of opening restaurants or other businesses. Sometimes it's gymnasiums or workout routines or other even things that are not related to the worship and service of God, in order to make money, to sustain their business or their attitude about how they want to worship God. And it becomes more of a business. And yet, we can be guilty of something similar even without literally turning the church into a business. We can become more concerned about the profit side of worship in this way. We can allow the concern of, are the contributions enough to affect what we teach and what we stand for? I have been, unfortunately, in congregations where this has been very much the discussion. That if we continue on X path, the end result will be fewer contributions, and we will not be able to survive. So we need to change things. Maybe not necessarily even the doctrine, but just looking at the wrong things. The worship of God is not about, are we making money? The worship of God is about, are we doing the right thing? Are we serving the Lord our God with all our heart, with all our soul, with all our mind, with all our strength? These people clearly had allowed those priorities to get mixed up. And we need to ask ourselves and challenge the leaders if this begins to become a problem in churches or among Christians, that we're more concerned about the business of religion than the heart of religion. Jesus clearly made his feelings known when he ran all of these people out of the temple. How would he feel about our worship today? Would he look at it as we are more focused on the business of religion or the heartfelt worship of religion? Hope you'll think on these things and join us again tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook for more content like this.